Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Let's Try That. I'm Avery.
And I'm Sarah.
And last week we tried to learn a new skill or like a new skill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried to learn how to do double exposure photography.
And I learned Adobe After Effects, like the very basic title animation part of it.
What? You didn't learn the whole program in a week?
Wow.
What the heck is wrong with you? So yeah, let's talk about our experience.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. So I was trying to learn double exposure photography. So I started doing some research and I found out that a lot of cameras can do real double exposure in camera, even digital cameras, because double exposure refers to a term in film photography where you would literally expose the same frame of film more than once, and it like produced these really weird effects when you had an exposure over an exposure. Mm-hmm. And now a lot of people do it with Photoshop because it's super easy to do that kind of thing with Photoshop. But supposedly, cameras can do it in camera, so I started researching about my camera, the Sony a7 III, and like 3 hours of rabbit holing later, I found out that it doesn't support the app that Sony makes to make it work. So you can't do double exposure in camera with the Sony a7 III, which I was pretty bummed about because doing it in camera would be way better than doing it in Photoshop. So then I was like, okay, well, I still have to try to learn how to do this. So started watching some YouTube tutorials of how to do it in Photoshop. And all of them were using like a portrait of somebody with really high contrast, like really dramatic lighting and stuff, like really bright highlights, really dark shadows. And the picture that they were like double exposing over it was also really dark. And basically, I was trying to do not that because I didn't want to do that, because a real double exposure, you could do whatever you wanted. Yeah. So, that basically led me to not wanting to do double exposures anymore. I learned how to do it. It's really easy, actually. But you basically just get the same look every time. It's the same thing over and over.
Double exposures look really cool.
They look really cool, but it's the same thing. Like, once you've seen one, you've seen every double exposure made in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Because it's always like a girl's portrait, and then it's like trees or something.
Or it could be like marriage. I've seen a lot of like married couples. Like, they have one of them like far away in the distance, like inside of a close-up of both of them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like that I've seen, and I really enjoyed
but that's
those.
probably a real double exposure, because the first video I watched about double exposures actually talked about some wedding ones, but they were real. Like, he did it in camera, where he literally exposed the same photo over itself, or a new photo over an existing photo. I feel like that produces way more organic effects, and also you don't have to like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like a copy-paste template kind of thing. So I learned how to do it, but I'm probably never going to do it.
It's still cool, though, yeah. But
unless I get a camera where it can do it, or I start getting into film photography like I've been wanting to forever. But I don't think I'll do the Photoshop technique of it really ever. Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, as far as what I did, so it was very basic. So I got... Before Avery and I decided to do this challenge, I decided to get Skillshare.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But I decided to get Skillshare and learn Adobe After Effects and more about Premiere, like shortcuts and stuff, and just more about editing in general. Mostly I decided to do this because I just got a job. Yeah. I just got a job this summer working for a whitewater rafting company. So I'm really excited for that. But they really wanted me to dive deep into After Effects and learn a fast editing process in Premiere. So I decided to do mine in After Effects, but you can't learn After Effects in 1 week, obviously.
What?
So I decided to do one specific trait of Adobe After Effects, which is the title like graphic animation. Simple. I mean, in After Effects, I feel like nothing is simple, but
nothing is simple in After Effects.
And I learned that when I tried, and I failed so many times.
It's so easy to fail in After Effects.
I know, and I feel like I
also failed so much in the double exposures. Like,
yeah,
I was trying to do it. I have like a bunch of pictures of welders because I work in a factory where we do welding. And so I have a bunch of like really cool not a bunch. I have a few cool like long exposures where you see like the arc of the weld that look really cool. and I wanted to overlay a wind turbine over it because I was like, that would be a sick double exposure. But it just wasn't doing what I wanted to, and it was so frustrating.
Yeah. These programs can be frustrating though.
God,
Like
After
editing,
Effects is like the master of frustration.
It is. And the fact I have to learn this before May 1st was when I start.
Better get cracking.
I know. Not like all of it, but basic title animation.
So did you end up with a title at the end of it?
I ended up with a title that doesn't look that great, but I did it.
But you did it.
So I did it, yeah. I actually used...
and now you learned how different it is from Premiere.
Yeah. I mean, I actually took like a title I made in Premiere and then like exported
as like
or imported it into...
composition. And then like you save it and then it automatically... I love that part. That part's cool.
That I did, and then I kind of worked with that.
In our most recent short film. Like all of the news stuff was in After Effects, but it just automatically applied to the Premiere stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It was super handy. But everything else about After Effects is super frustrating.
Yeah.
And sometimes that like dynamic link thing doesn't work, and it's great.
Little side
You'll love it,
note
though.
Little side note though, Avery has his own channel, Aves MHL. You can follow him, subscribe to him, and like all that good stuff. And
I haven't even promoted the podcast on my channel yet.
but it's okay because I'm promoting your channel on here. So
and Sarah has a private Instagram page.
I have a photography page. I got some stuff
maybe
on
I
there.
should link that one instead of your main one.
Yeah,
in the podcast.
you can do that.
I've been linking your main one, but
yeah, my main one's personal. But anyway, sad.
Last week we released the first episode. Did we talk about that? We finally started putting these out.
Yeah. Oh man.
This is episode 9, I think.
Oh boy.
And we just put out 2.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hey, at least we have a backlog.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so learn a new skill. Pretty self-explanatory.
I think everybody can learn a new skill, so just pick something that you really enjoy, like, or something that's beneficial for your future.
Would you recommend Skillshare? I've never used it.
I would actually recommend it a lot.
Yeah?
Again, not a sponsor, but
if you use the code, let's try that.
Right.
Imagine.
We get that big.
Hey, who knows? By the time this one goes live,
Yeah. Oh yeah, baby.
3 months from now. Oh man.
Oh, but yes, I would recommend Skillshare, especially if you're creative. So you love like editing Premiere. They even have like Final Cut tutorials.
There's even like cooking stuff and stuff on there, isn't there?
Yeah, but like I was only in the creative portion,
Right.
obviously.
I feel like it's mostly marketed for like creative people.
Yes, and they have like photography stuff.
I guess art is also. I mean,
all
cooking is also creative. I don't want to discount anybody that loves cooking.
No, no, it's great for a lot of things. I just don't know that realm of what it is. But
It's
like,
I've heard it's really good for that stuff, though.
Yeah. But yeah, creative stuff. Like if you're into drawing, painting, graphic design, it's good for that too. So illustrations.
Again, not a sponsor.
Yes, but I just love it.
We just did a full ad read for Skillshare.
But it's cool, and I recommend it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So
I recommend trying to learn a new skill, even if it sucks and you don't do it ever again.
Yeah. Try double exposures. I mean, you never know.
Hey, if you have a camera that supports it, have some fun with it because I'm jealous of you.
I'm sure it's great. Like for weddings, I love those pictures, how they turn out. So
Yeah,
if
I've
you're
seen
like a
some cool
wedding
ones.
photographer, videographer, whatever, just
Maybe I
try
just
it
need to
out.
actually like full on dive into film and invest in a dark room. That's probably what I should do. Anyway,
that would be cool.
what are we doing this week?
So this week, our challenge is dun dun dun. Drum roll, please. Caffeine-free challenge. So no caffeine for 7 days, and I know that's tough for me personally because I'm a coffee drinker. Shout out to all you coffee drinkers out there.
I used to be one of you.
Yeah, I mean, I just got into. I only drink Red Bulls, like energy drinks. Whenever
God, Red Bull is so delicious.
Red Bull's good, yeah, but I only drink them when I'm really tired.
Yeah.
But I know coffee is a huge one, and energy drinks not so much. But pre-workout, yeah, that's gonna be tough.
See, maybe last year. I think it was like the end of 2018. I was caffeine free for like 3 months. So I think it's gonna be freaking easy for me, but because like I didn't even get withdrawals when I quit caffeine originally, and I was drinking a ton of caffeine.
So I don't think I'm gonna get withdrawals from it because I only drink maybe 2 cups of coffee a day, and that's not.
It's kind of a lot. You'd be surprised. You might get a headache. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll talk about it next week.
I mean, I've gone like 2 or 3 days without drinking coffee. So, but then you don't realize how much other like drinks
there's so
have
much stuff
caffeine.
with like little bit of caffeine.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every soda.
Soda, yeah. I don't drink soda that much, but
or even like my little cycling gels. A lot of them have caffeine.
Teas have caffeine.
Yeah,
like,
most tea. Well, not herbal tea, but
yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff with caffeine in it that you don't even realize.
Yeah, and that'll
even
be interesting.
like one of the multivitamins that I take sometimes has caffeine in it.
But it'll say caffeine free if it's caffeine free, like on the label.
Or you just look at the label and it's super easy to see if there's caffeine in it.
Okay, so you can follow us on Spotify. Let's try that. You can follow us on Instagram at Lettuce the Vegetable. Try that.
I think we should change the name to Lettuce the Vegetable. Try that.
I know, because I always say that.
Yeah. It's just spelled like the vegetable, but it's just lettuce. Try that.
Yeah, lettuce, and then try that. But you can follow us there. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's try that. Obviously, that's the name of our podcast, so that's where everything's at. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching Caffeine Free for 7 days.
Let's try that.